Hey everybody, so today I'm doing something I've never done before, which is filling an empty palette with some tube paints that I got for my birthday. And I have watched several videos, actually many videos, on how to do this properly, air quotes, but everybody seems to have a different method of doing it. So I'm just going to kind of do it my own way. And is it the right way? Maybe not, and I might regret it, but let's just see. So let's first start off with what we've got here. I've got an empty palette. Let me show you this. Got this on Amazon. It came with magnets to put on the bottom of the pans. These are full pans as opposed to what I usually use or have been using, which are half pans. Let me just show you from my Paul Rubens set, the half pan. So you can kind of see the difference here if you're not familiar. It's just half the size, like that. And I just went with full pans because that appealed to me. Something different. I'm trying to branch out here. When I first started this channel, well, I started this channel several years ago just so I could like and watch other people's videos. But when I first started posting on this channel, almost a year ago now, I used Winsor Newton Cotman series, which is a student grade. And then at Christmas time, I upgraded to a professional set, Paul Rubens, which was this lovely set. I really have enjoyed these a lot. I would recommend. And now I just want to branch out into tube paints, which is where these come in. Winsor Newton. And let me move that out of the way. So we have got our set of watercolors. There's 12 in here. I think there's 20 empty pans in here. I am going to add a couple other colors that I have from a long time ago. I'll tell you about those in a second. One of them, there are many people who will disagree that I should add that color to my palette, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, let's just start. And starting with the empty palette, the first thing I'm going to do, again, this is not how everybody does it, but I am going to start with writing on the sides of my pans what color they are. And that will just help me in the future, possibly. So let's do that first. And I've decided I am going to just place my paints in here the same order that Winsor and Newton has them in here, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, really. And I'll maybe explain that in a little bit. But I can always move them around. All I'm doing is going to have these little magnetic rectangles on the bottom. So in the future, if it bothers me that there's a certain placement, we will deal with that. And I'll be using a Micron size 5. And I'll speed you through this because you don't need to see all that. But just so you know, I'm going to put a WN on the side just so I know the brand. And then I'll put the color on that side. Nothing too exciting here. Just one of those little steps that might just make a big difference later. And next, I am going to put the magnets on there. Some people fill them outside of the tin. I'm just going to go right in. I don't want to mess with any of that. So grabbing these handy little magnets and putting them on the back of each of the pans. I'm just going to push that down, try to make it secure. I have heard people say that sometimes the magnets don't necessarily stick super great, but if that's the case later on, I will just add some glue to them. And I will not make you sit through this and watch me do every single one of these magnets. So let me just speed you on up here. And we've got all those in place. I went ahead and did the ones that are going to remain empty for now. And you may have seen me add a couple more colors in the mix. I had purchased some tube paints 2 or 3 years ago before I even knew tube paints were different than pan paints and had no clue. But so we'll see if these are even still good. I don't know how old they are. So I'm just going to place these in the mix here. I'm going to put aqua green before sap green, and I'll put this one at the end. And yes, it's lamp black. Now, that's controversial in some circles, but because people say you shouldn't use black, and I'm here to tell you, if you don't want to use black, then don't use black. If you do, then do. I don't have the capacity to fight about pigments, you know? Okay. Now, when filling, like I said, there's several schools of thought, maybe many, many schools of thought. Some people say you should fill the pan maybe a third of the way, let it dry for 24 hours, fill it again, the next third, dry 24 hours. You get the idea. I just want to fill it all. You know, if you've been watching my channel, you know I like to paint quickly and I like to do shorter videos with my tutorials. I just like to do things quickly. So again, I might regret this. I'm just going to fill it and see what happens, because I think what's the worst that could happen? And that might be, you know, it'll dip down in the middle. But when you look at the set that I was using before, I mean, let me just show you, like, there's holes in there, you know. I just don't think it's going to be a big deal. If that doesn't bother me either. I mean, you just go around the outside with your brush. I don't know. For me, I just want to have it done. Okay. And I will be honest in the future if I'm like, I really should have done these in layers. That's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these all the way-ish, and then I'm going to let them dry, see what tomorrow brings. And if they did sink down a ton, then so be it. Let's see. I'm going to move these just a little bit so they're not under the lip of the tin. Just a little bit there. Does it bother me that there's space here and space here? A little bit. Okay, here we go. Starting with our Winsor Lemon Yellow. Oh, okay, so I can see already the magnets aren't super strong, and that's okay. And since these are full pans, I don't feel like I have to fill them completely to the top, but I do want them to be nice and full so I don't have to fill them again anytime in the near future. Although, big deal if I do, right? Now, let's talk about the elephant that was in the room earlier, which is this guy. Okay, I love him. I know he's disturbing to some people, but he's my toothpick holder, and I love him. This is an Henri carving. You can look it up, ANRI, I believe. Anyway, whoops. Okay, so that's my toothpick holder, and he makes me laugh, and I like things that make me laugh. So we're going to take a toothpick. You could take a needle or a pin, whatever you might have, palette knife, and we're just going to try to get, I guess, air bubbles. That's what they say. There might be some air bubbles in here, so kind of just stirring it around. What people say, getting in the corners. And when all is said and done today, when I get them all filled, I'm going to also tap the tin down a little bit. When people do them separately out here, they kind of tap them down too. So just winging it. So you get the gist there. I'm just going to fill them all up. I'm going to stir them a bit with the toothpick. And when all is said and done, I'll tap the whole tin and see what we have in the end. This was honestly a pretty satisfying process. I did notice some of them look very smooth, and then some of them don't look very smooth. A couple of them don't. So we'll see how they end up drying. Who knows if that tapping did anything? I don't know, but I did it because others did it, so it sounded good. Okay, we got them all filled and room to grow here. And I will just wait for 24 hours now, come back and see if I need to top any of them off and go from there. And welcome to tomorrow. I let these dry overnight, and yeah, you can see like this one dried very smoothly. There's a little bit of a dip in there, but nothing that is alarming to me. And now this one, this is the burnt umber, and it's pretty lumpy, but it was lumpy when I was doing it. So that's okay. I'm going to be adding water to it anyway, so that does not bother me one iota. So we're just going to leave it. I am excited to try these. I don't know if they're going to perform differently, so I'm just excited to get going. So the next thing I'm going to do, so when I got this set of tube paints, Winsor & Newton included this sheet for swatching. It's very thick, very sturdy, has a crease in it that's a little, you know, annoying maybe, but we're just gonna go for it. Now, I could be all creative and I could draw rectangles on it, but I'm just gonna kind of go for it and try to flatten it a little bit here. But I'm just gonna just kind of wing it. Just do like 3 rows as we see up in my palette, and then I will label them as well. So to start off with, I'm just going to add a few drops of water to each of the colors, and I'll speed you through this because I'm literally just adding little water droplets to activate the paint. And then we'll be all ready to do a quick color swatch. And of course, I'm not going to make you sit through every brush stroke, but let me tell you, I really like these paints. I mean, this is just my first 5 minutes with them, but they feel so nice to work with. I hope you don't mind all the sped up bits here, but I just want to keep things moving and respect your time. I'm just curious, is it annoying to watch this all sped up like this? I just think, first tutorials, I understand speeding up is not everybody's cup of tea, but this just kind of makes sense to me. Okay, all set and ready to go. I am really happy with how this palette came together. And if you're going to be setting up your own palette, I hope this gives you some ideas or inspiration to get started. I put it off for so long because I thought it was going to take forever, but it really didn't. So I hope this gives you a little nudge to start your own palette. And I'd love to have you join me in the next video. I've got a fun tutorial planned where I'll be trying out these new paints. Until then, take good care.